beforehand, let me go ahead.
I don't know what's going on. Okay.
Am I still there?
Hi, everyone. We're crazy today.
Hi, everyone. This is an impromptu little, blurb. Decided we would jump on, and see what we can talk about today. I know Joyce had some experiences with some mediums lately, and I'm working on not saying so much. I was watching my video the other day, and every other word was so bear with me. We're learning how to be on camera. Well, I am anyway, learning how to be on camera. So it's difficult, getting used to talking to your phone. We talk to our phone all the time, but it's funny when you're actually looking back at yourself. It's a little different, but anyway, I'm interested to hear about how your mediumship sessions have gone. I know you said that you you had contact with your mom and then your dad. So if you're wanting to share about those, I'd love to hear about them.
I do actually. I just got done with my second one that was 45 minutes, and her name was Heather. I did Heather the second time.
Oh, I really, really liked Heather. She's the one that knew my dad's name, and I think she was my second one that I had, and she really knew what she was doing.
Yeah, like hold on. Hold on one second. Give me 2 seconds.
Mm-hmm. Well, while you're doing that, I was doing a little bit of breath work before you get started. I was doing a little bit of breath work because I was feeling this collective anxiety going on today, at least with me. And so I, when I'm feeling that, like this tightness right here in my chest, I want to stop and just do a little bit of breathing. So I'm going to open up with just a little couple of deep breaths, and then we can open up into that. But
exactly.
Okay. All right. That's a little better.
Yeah, well, I have a heavy heart too, so you might be picking up on that. That she picked up on that too in my appointment. She said this heaviness on my heart, on my chest, and I'm like, yeah, it's probably me personally because, but I'm going through some stuff, so it's kind of heavy. I'm not going to bullshit.
Yeah. Well, while we're going through this, it is quite, intense. But we've got to get through it to get to it,
Yeah. And so today was my 45-minute appointment. And so, yeah, she picked up on my dad. She picked up on my dad's energy. He immediately, the first thing he did was validated my experiences as a kid. It was pretty awesome. Like I told you, I'm healing this week. Like my first appointment was with my mom and I got to heal. And then today was with my dad and I got to heal,
That's awesome. Oh, I got a little bee buzzing by. A couple of them. Sorry. You know me with my squirrel.
Yeah. He was, and then he was like, he brought up like cars and like, because I've always been like, I was a little girl who played with cars, but I was also a little girl who played with Barbies. Like I played with Barbies and horses and My Little Ponies and all of that, but I also played with cars and like G.I. Joes and like He-Man. Like I was really balanced as a child. I didn't have like and he brought that out in the appointment. It's kind of hard for me to say how she said it, but the way he was putting it to her was to bring out like how he thought of me, like what he was proud of. He told me that I was one of a kind. Like he was telling her, like he was bragging on me. Like she's one of a kind. Like she has so many gifts. Like check her out. Like she knows how to fix cars. Like she knows how to like dig. Like she knows how to like build. She knows how to like do gardening. She knows how to make things. She knows how to draw. She knows how to, fix things. She knows how to cook. And he's just like listing these things of all these gifts that I have and I just untapped potential. And he's like bragging on me. That's what was funny was he was bragging on me. and like telling her like he was proud of me, you know. But there was a lot of identifiers like going back with the cars and stuff, and going outdoors because I love going outdoors in the snow. Um, that was like the best time of my life.
It's okay. Take
So
some breath if you need to take a breath.
yeah, this is why I'm not doing readings this week because I can't keep it together. I'm doing a lot of healing.
Well, it's important, you know, to do that, to take that time for yourself and to put yourself first. And you know, we can't help other people, you know, when we need the help ourselves. We have to put ourselves and stop and do that healing for ourselves first. Um, you know, it's kind of, I like to think of it like playing an instrument. You know, if it's got all this gunk inside, it's not going to play well. You know, it's not going to sound that great. And so we kind of are those instruments for the divine. And so we have to constantly be cleaning ourselves out so that we can play, you
yeah,
know.
we're being attuned. But he told me he understood what I'm going through right now. He validated the experience that I'm currently having. He brought that up, actually. Um, he told me that I'm never alone, which is my next tattoo now, other than my dad's memorial tattoo that I want. My mom and dad actually together in one tattoo, but then my next tattoo is never alone. And so I know where it's gonna go.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's an important message for you because, you know, you've been saying, you know, I feel so alone. I feel so alone. And so, you know, to have that message come through that we're not alone, you know, I think that's extremely important for you, you know, to realize that. And through these mediumship sessions, that's what I've been realizing as well is that we've got a whole team of cheerleaders, angels, you know, our ancestors that are right there that are, you know, that are giving us this you know, oomph. They're our cheerleaders. You know, they're sitting there and they're like, "Come on, you're doing so good," and they're kind of pointing the way a little bit and nudging. You know, doing the nudging because you know they can't do a lot of like you know. I'm sure that some of my ancestors want to come down and just grab me and you know pull me out and be like, "Stop doing that," you know. But I'm grateful that they don't because they allow. You know, I am allowed to go through the experiences and learn the lessons that I need to learn. But knowing that they're there um, to support me no matter what. And even in my darkest times, because just a few months ago, I was going through, you know, a similar feelings. I don't want to say the similar situation, but similar feelings,
Yeah.
you know, that you're going through. And so it's kind of like we each go through it in our own time, and then the people that have gone through it can help us, and then the people that are about to go through it, it's like we're going, okay, it's coming. You're gonna be okay. You're gonna get through it. So I think that's why we all go through different things at different times so that we can all kind of support each other there as well. So we are never alone.
We're never alone. And also she also told me that the tapping that I hear is him. So
Mm.
the tapping that I hear, the creaking, like I'll hear, you know how your house creaks and just
Yeah.
some of the noises you hear are, you know, are him. And I'm just like, that makes a lot of sense too.
Yeah.
But he's like tapping to try to get my attention because I can get stuck in these cycles. And so he's like, you know, you tap on the shoulder like, hello, you know, you're okay, it's going to be all right. That was what he was trying to bring across through her. She did really, really good. He also he acknowledged my relationship with you, but
With
he
me?
also, yeah,
Oh wow.
well, he said that my close friend that I'm really close to right now, and that would be you. That's it right now. And he said to bring more people in. He said, I'm allow he said allow other people to come in
Mhm.
because I don't let people in. You know that I don't let
Yeah.
people near me. I don't let people near me. I can pretend I wear a really good mask, but I don't let people know anything about me, like what's going on with me, or really truly a lot of stuff on Facebook it's for show. It's just Facebook. It's not really who I am, you
Yeah.
know.
Well, and
Some of the
I know what you're going through when I'm seeing you post things, but you know, other people don't, and so their responses are so out of context because they have no idea. And I'll see the response, I'm like, I'm just gonna put I care on this because I know, you know what I mean. Like I'm letting you know that I'm supporting you, but you know, you got to go through it. There's nothing that I need to say. I don't need to pull you out of it. You need to go through it. You know, you need to
I
experience
have
it,
to
you need to
feel
feel it,
it.
and
Yeah.
just to let you know that I'm here. You know what I mean? That's my role for you so far, you know, recently. Um has just been to support you and to say you're not alone, you know what I mean? To kind of point you in the direction. I'm kind of on that team too, you know what I mean? But I am in the physical, so we can be angels for each
Uh,
other, you know, in the physical world, and kind of bolster each other up and inspire one another. And you know, I have quite a few people that come to me and say, you know, you inspire me to do this, and you inspired me to do that. And you know, I love to hear that, because it's like I'm just doing these things for myself. um you know, I'm healing myself, I'm working on myself, I'm you know, changing myself. And if it inspires or helps someone else, that makes me so grateful, because you know, that's like an added intention, you know what I mean? Like that's a little bonus, you know, to get that feedback. And there's so many people that inspire me as well. So you know, I just love to be that light and that inspiration for other people, you know, and you are that for me too, you know what I mean? That's how we got connected with this. We just started having our phone calls, and we're like, you know, let's just
but
let's share this with other people. Maybe we can inspire someone else, you know. And that's the thing, is that we're not perfect people. We go through so much, you know. I'm not a big crier. When I do cry, it's like boo-hoo cry, like, you know, ugly girl cry. So I try not to do that too much in front of the camera. But you know, there's going to be a moment where I can't hold it in.
I'm gonna
um
I cry if
you
I
know,
cry if I cry. I'm not gonna stop myself. I've
yeah,
stopped myself enough,
yeah.
obviously. So I'm not gonna do that anymore. But yeah, it was just funny to go back in here. He also said that he tapped into my finances, said this too shall pass. And it's funny because as soon as I thought that question, it was like not even 10 seconds. She picked up the financial question. It was like, boom. She was really good on that one
Yeah.
because my other, obviously, you know,
Mhm.
my situation. So I
And
was like, financial
so
situation.
you were doing the same thing where you were telepathically asking the questions and then getting the answers. Yeah,
Yeah.
I felt like that was more authentic than to, you know, because with these mediumship things, we're not supposed to really give them any information or ask questions until the end. So it's kind of hard when it's like these things come up and you're like, I want to talk to them, you know. Um, I know that the program that we're doing with the very soul, that it's, oh, I just sold a lavender bath soak. That's good. Sorry, my little thing popped up. I've been having a lot of sales. My abundance is finally, you know, little trickling in, and that's good. But uh where was I going with that? What was I saying before I got before I got a squirrel? Squirrel.
Talking about abundance. Well, no, wait, this shoot too shall pass, I said. Oh, yeah. He told me to rest in the universe because the universe is abundant. And it's funny because he brought her to her attention an oracle card, which my dad was religious. So it's just funny how after just confirmation how spirituality and the path that I'm on is 100% accurate and real and validated,
Yeah.
and the rest of what I was believing in was fucking bullshit. And yeah, religion is not real. It's
Well,
a
I
control.
want to. Parts of it are, but it's so touched by man
As far
that you have
as
to really
as
know what you're doing to get out what's the
I'm
truth.
not worried about. I don't really care about opinions. That's fine because we've already talked religion, and so we're talking about our opinion of our religion. So I'm not really going into that. We already have discussed that in other episodes. So
Yeah.
go look at our what our actual opinion of it is, and we already got in depth on that in another episode. So also let me see here.
We could go into that a million times and
He brought up
never
Reiki.
cover it enough.
He brought up Reiki. He brought up Reiki and energy work for me, and then he started to brag on me again because I have so many abilities. He said, He's has so many abilities. He was just telling her all about it. It was funny. Um, I think the most important thing here is that he told me to tap into my golden light. And he said that is your soul. Your soul is your golden light on the inside of you. That is what they see when they cross over. And so when we, like, if I could tap into that energy, just that is who we are actually. We're not really this physical body. We're literally in this physical body. At conception, a light incurs, and that light is you going into the body. You can look that up. There's very little research on that, but there's literally also a photo that was taken. Um, just amazing things. If you go and you look at who we really are as an energy, there's light at conception. Like there's so much that you learn. Like it's just beautiful, you know. And that
Well,
light is
that triggers for me the memory of when my daughter was born and that feeling of having her on my chest and I just couldn't look at her enough. Like when you're looking at the sun, it's like you can't really look directly at it, but I mean, when you sun gaze, you can, but or more often, I mean, you start to be able to look at it, but it's like you just want to look at it more. You want to, like, you cannot get enough of it. It's just like this overwhelming feeling of like just pure bliss. And that reminds me of that light, you know, because when a baby's born, they're coming straight from source. They're so close to it, you know. That's why a lot of the darker entities want that. And I'm not going to get into that kind of thing today, but that's a lot of why there's so much um, things that go on with the inner
fed.
pure souls. But because they are so close to the light and they are, you know, it's like they're still so fresh with it, you know what I mean? And then they come into this world and we come into this world and slowly but surely we're kind of indoctrinated into this darkness and we it's not that we lose that light, it's just that that light kind of gets dimmed a little bit by the covering over top, like the veil that's over top of us. But we are still that light that we were when we came into this world, you know, before we came into this world. It's just this whole process of awakening is kind of like peeling back the layers of that onion to
Yeah.
get to that light again so that we can shine bright, you know. And a
It,
lot of people want us to put those layers back on because we're too bright for them and they can't handle it. And the thing about the light is it's reflective, so we make them look at themselves. It's not that they're angry with us or they're upset with us, it's that they don't want to look at themselves. And so when we're shining brightly, it's a reflection that's very clear and bright for them to see themselves in, and they want it muffled. They want it shrouded in you know and fuzzy, so they don't have to look at it clearly. Um, but that's not our job to darken our light anymore. Our job is to shine bright and let other people decide for themselves whether they want to look at their own reflection and shine as bright as they can too, or if they want to run, you know, and that's their choice, you know. And I know that that's part of what you're experiencing is going through someone who is seeing their reflection, um and it's they're not necessarily liking it, you know, because they're not ready for that. And so that's hard, especially when we have these attachments to people in this world and we love, you know, we have care or compassion, you know, because we are love, we are compassionate. And so whether we're you know meant to be with another person or not, or whether they're meant to be in our circle, it doesn't mean that we don't love or have compassion for that person. And that's the hard part for me because, you know, I'm so loving and so compassionate. It's like I don't want to have any boundaries, and learning to put those boundaries up and keep them up and learning self-love, that's been a lesson, you know. That's been many lessons.
hard. And I've been just a nice person, like literally, and that also goes back into my borderline because of my identity crisis. My identity crisis started as a child, as a young child. So I've always had this invalidation. I've always been seeking validation externally for my whole life since I was a little girl.
Yeah.
And what my dad did at the beginning of the appointment was he acknowledged all of the things that I went through and said that he felt bad because he didn't understand. everything that I needed to do. So yeah, and that was really important to me because yeah, I've always been looking outside myself to make me okay. So, anyways, and then at the very end, this is the best part. This was kind of cool.
Mhm.
At the end, my grandma came in,
Mhm.
and at first I thought it was his mom, and I was acting like, okay, so it's my grandma that I didn't know.
Mhm.
But it was she's like, no, this book. She keeps showing me this book, and I'm like, wait, my book, like my book, my ancestry book, and that is actually the Bergman side, which is my mom's mom. And so it was so funny. We were able to, like, oh, we have the wrong grandma here. And so I was able to acknowledge that it was the right grandma. But it was funny because she keeps bringing this book up. Here, I'm going to grab it
Okay.
right here.
So it's like a family tree book kind of
Kind
thing.
of,
Mhm.
kind of. Um, but anyway, she's like, this book, she keeps showing me this book. And she says, it's not very big, but it's a hardback. It's a hardback book. And I'm like, yeah. Um,
Oh, sorry, my camera fell.
That's it. This is it. This is what she was referring to, which is my mom's mom. So my mom's mom came in and she's the one, because after she tapped in and I was able to tap that energy, I was like, oh, okay, so she's the one I'm tapping into for my rest.
Sorry.
Oh my gosh,
Technology has
Molly,
got
I
my attention.
did.
I'm so sorry. The wind is blowing and it's blowing over my camera stand. So, I've had this is my second camera stand, and it's a little taller, but it's not as strong. So it's every time the wind blows it wants to fall over. Sorry, I didn't mean to distract.
You're fine. I thought I was gonna fall on my face.
Yeah. Just me. All right, let me try to adjust it.
But oh my god, it was so amazing that she picked up on that, and she's like, no, refer to the book. And I'm like, okay, so that's how we got on to the right grandma.
Mm-hmm.
And she's been messing with my lights, or she says, watch for the lights. So she's gonna be messing with my lights, or she has, because in my kitchen I have fluorescent lights
Mm-hmm.
and they're a pain in my ass, but they didn't want to turn on, and they don't want to turn on, and you're like flipping the switch, you're like, just freaking turn on already. I don't want to have to freaking, we had to remove the shades and everything. I'm just like, oh god. But anyways, yeah, that was her fault. That's what I'm getting.
Well, it's kind of reminds me of the other night when I was telling you that my dog collar started shocking her. I was doing I had just had a couple of mediumship sessions, and they said that the spirits are causing the dog collars to beep. Like if they have interference, it's causing them to beep because you know they mess with the electrical signal, not on purpose sometimes, but just because they are here. And so I was doing a quantum meditation, like a Dolores Cannon meditation the other night, um, and as I was doing it, my dog's collar started going berserk, and then I come to find out the next day that it wasn't even plugged in. So the fact that there was an electrical signal causing it to go off when there was not even a um, when there was not even a it was not even plugged into the wall. So, that just shows you right there that our electromagnetism, we when we expand, that it touches everything. And so, our light bodies, our spiritual bodies, they they do interfere with the technology, and I've been experiencing that a lot with my phone glitching. And it's like that the higher we go, the less technology can keep up. And because it's honestly, it's alien technology that we're organic beings, and so we don't really work together. We don't. It's kind of like oil and water, so the more we become spirit, the less the technology, it kind of backfires. So I'm learning that, personally, I'm seeing it, and it's just confirmation for me that this is real. Because there's no way that the dog collar was going off without it plugged in. That it there's no way. You know, and the lights on my daughter's tiki hut, that's what I think it was Heather said, one of the mediums said that my dad was, you know, he would mess with the solar lights to kind of signal. And I had that feeling when I was in my hot tub the other night. I was like, I looked at them, I'm like, what is going on with those lights? They're just flashing like not in a pattern. They just keep going on and off, dimming on and off. And I've tried to mess with them to put them on a steady beam. Like there's supposed to be 5 different modes, and it will not. No matter what I do, it will not go on just a straight on mode. And I don't know if that's him messing with it or what, but you know, these solar lights, they're definitely interesting. I have another thing, another package of them that has the instructions. I might want to read it and just see, you know, what's going on for more confirmation. But they definitely do have the ability to interfere with the electrical. I'm learning that. And really, this has just been confirming to me that all of this is real. The spiritual stuff that we're doing, it's real, you know, and it's empowering me to be more, you know, to believe in myself more. And as I believe in myself more, the more powerful I become. So it's kind of like, you know, you believe to achieve, you believe, you know, the belief has to come first. And so if you're like, I don't know, you know, you're pushing it away from yourself. So to have these things confirmed now, it enables more belief, and then, you know, we get stronger from it. So I'm grateful for the sessions we've been having.
Yeah, I've been able to heal a lot. I'll talk about my mom now. My mom's was fun. Hang on. My mom's was fun because her personality came through a lot.
Yeah.
It was, and so my mom, she says, my mom flew in. She says this lady flew in. She says a feminine flew in. And immediately I knew it was my mom, like right away. I was like, yeah, that's my mom. And she came in at about her 20 or 30s. And she
Oh, sorry, knocking stuff over here.
oh, sorry. Yeah. Yeah, she came in her, yeah, she has blonde hair, and she says, I got it done correctly, because when she tried to dye her hair blonde the first time, she turned it red, and she hated it. She didn't like it. It was probably like this or lighter than even mine, but she hated it. And so and I have the picture. I have I don't know what you call it. I can't remember the picture, but it's just the black and white little tiny thing of the picture. I can't remember what you call those. Anyways, I have the photos, copies of the photos.
The negatives?
Yeah, the negatives. Thank you. I have the negatives of when she had her hair like that, and I didn't think it looked bad. But anyway, she came in and she said, my hair is blonde, but I did it right. And she's like, haha. And she did her attitude, and it just came out. And it was funny because at the very beginning, she's like, oh, well, more than one person stepping forward. Oh no, a feminine came in and she said, no, this is my appointment. She said, no one allowed in except me. This is my appointment. And it was my mom. And she brought up the fact how cool it is that she gets to talk to archangels. She gets to talk to ascended masters. And like, she was religious on this planet. So again, confirmation for me that I'm on the right path and I'm learning the right things. And one thing she said, she was adamant that she said, thank you for believing this. Thank you for believing that I'm really here. And I know she was there. Like, I could feel her energy. But the one thing with my mom that got me, and it was a phrase that she used to tell everybody when she used to introduce me to her friends or any group of people that she was associated with, like, she would always introduce me as her Joy, because she named me Joy because I was literally her joy, the joy of her life. And that's why she named me that. And because that came across, it was like, yep, that was my confirmation with that one too. You know, it's not some imposter, and it's real. And I'm on the right path, and I'm learning the right things. and I need to follow my heart, she said, because she said to make sure she was like, I asked her about my situation and she was like this, and she did this to the lady. And so the lady was like, she's doing this. And I'm like, weigh your options. And then it came through in another reading on the side too, and later, weigh your options, and follow your heart, she said, because that's where we're headed. Whatever your highest excitement is going to come from your heart inside of you. It's not going to come from outside anything. It's not going to come from anything outside of you. It's not going to come from force or coercion or manipulation or like lies. I just what's coming through is it's gentle. Whatever is gentle, whatever is kind, whatever is of the spirit, that is what I need to follow. Not what my mind says, but what my spirit says, what my heart says.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think
I know.
that
And sometimes it's hard to listen to our hearts because it means, breaking things. It means, change. It means having to take care of yourself. When, when our fear has kept us trapped for so long. And so, you know, yeah, sure, it's easy to say listen to your heart, but then to actually put that into action. And I know, a lot of us are going through that where we're having to let go of those things that are not loving, that are fear based, that keep us small. And so taking that step is scary, because it's like you're kind of taking a step out into the unknown. And
I'm
it just
always,
looks like darkness, when you take that step, but you're not alone. You
well,
know that there's someone there to lift you, and even if you do fall, it's someone's going to be there to help you, your angels or God.
I've always gotten the vision like cliff diving. I've never really been cliff diving, but I've been off the high dive and stuff. And
Mhm.
it's like a high dive, you jump off and you're falling, but
Mhm.
the water's there, you know. And even if you belly flop, you're not dead, Your spirit guides look at you like, are you dead? Because you fucking belly flopped your ass. But hey, you're still here, right? You're all right. You're gonna be okay. Brush yourself off, There's no failure. The only failure is not getting back up. The
Or
only
not going forward, not
not doing
taking
it,
the
not doing.
action at all, just staying stuck. And I don't even see that as failure. I just see that as
Yeah.
waiting, waiting to succeed. We have to change the way that we're looking at it. It's just you might not be ready at that moment. Not you, but the person that we're talking about, might not that we're talking about. I don't know why I said that. But just anybody that we're talking to, you might not be ready to make that step, to take that step, and that doesn't mean that you're failing by not taking the step. It just means you're not ready to succeed. And so when you are ready to succeed, then you'll take that step. Um, you know, I don't think there is a level of failure because even in death, we get to come back if we want to and try again. So
I
hopefully,
think that
my goal in this life is not to have to do that. I want to become an ascended master or, one of these people, I want to go back to the light. That's my goal in this life is to hopefully not,
so.
not have to go through it again.
This was one thing important message that came through from my guides throughout this week also is that um shoot, don't just slip out of my mind when I was going to share. Maybe they didn't want me to share it right now, but I feel like a lot of people are shifting right now and a lot of people are hurting. I feel like a lot of people.
Sorry,
I'm
my
a little
dog wants me to
confused
throw her
outside.
ball for.
No, please do. I love it when the dogs interact. They're so awesome. Mine's sleeping next to me. He's literally touching me. Both times after my session, my dog has come over to me and rubbed all over me. I'm not sure what that's about, but he just rubs his face and his head all over me, all over like my arm, like wanting love. You know what I mean? After both sessions, he did both of them. He did that. So it's so funny. Like, it's like he knows.
Well,
It's
what
like
I
he
found in my sessions is that because I made a new bracelet and it's got obsidian, and because I was obsidian and malachite to or protection around money, is why I made it. And so when I was wearing it during my session, I noticed that they weren't getting as much of a connection. So it's important for me to remember that obsidian is a blocker. You know what I mean? It's the dark crystals are going to
yeah.
absorb that connection, cut it off. So, if we want to connect, it's important to, and also
Yep.
I was burning a candle at the same time, and I lit sage right before my session. So, I felt like that cleared a lot of the energies, and so she was having a hard time connecting. So,
Yeah. She did at
um,
first. This one, I did I had the sage, but I needed to because it's been very heavy. So I really did want to rinse get the dense energy out because I've been dealing with heavy, dense emotions, and so I don't want that. So I'm always constantly clearing so that we could feel better.
mhm. Oh my gosh.
Um, awesome.
I went to the store where I'm selling my products today, and
Yeah.
I did Palo Santo all over the store. And the lady that runs the store, the very nice lady that I've talked about in the past,
Uh,
she could not handle it. I mean, she has asthma, so she couldn't breathe in the smoke. But just to see her run out of the store, I was like, oh my gosh, I feel so bad. But you know, it's I want my products to have a good atmosphere where they are, so that whoever comes in there is feeling that that intention of healing, and not whatever, because these public places, stores and things like that, they get a lot of traffic, and so you, there's a lot of energy that comes with people, especially people that are not aware of how to deal with energy, and so they leave it everywhere they go,
yeah.
because they don't have those boundaries.
Everywhere.
So it's
They
important to
little
clear.
pieces themselves everywhere, and then they leave their pieces for other people to run into and pick up their limiting beliefs and or their random thought. Like last year, I don't remember. I was trying to find it in one of my posts. I picked up somebody cheating, and I thought it was me, like in my relationship, but it wasn't. And I don't know if I talked to you about that.
Mm-mm.
I talked to somebody about it, but I picked up on this energy, and it was in the collective. It wasn't mine. It wasn't mine at all. But we do
Well,
that
I mean,
because
for instance,
there's shit
yeah,
everywhere. Like
that
pick up.
brings up a lot of, and this is extremely personal for me to talk about, but I've had my own, from being molested as a child, I've had fear of it reoccurring in my daughter's life, to the point of, projecting that fear onto my loved one, onto my partner, when it's not occurring, it's not happening. But I have that fear anytime that they're alone, or that I can't leave my child alone. And I realized, that's a lot of collective fear. That's it's my trauma, but it's also a lot of this stuff going on in the collective, and it's kind of been programmed into us to be afraid of our husbands hurting our children. And yes, I want to acknowledge it does happen, and that that not to be not to be conscious of it, but to live in this world of fear, where it was controlling me, and I where I wouldn't leave my child alone with her own father, that is not healthy. And
Right.
so I had to really look at that, because that was something that was holding me back and causing a huge void in my relationship,
Yeah.
that I wasn't even aware of, why I had this fear constantly. And even though what happened to me as a child was not as terrible as it's been to to many people, it happened to me, I think, one or two times. um my experience was valid, and it was enough to mentally you know mess with me,
Yeah.
to put that trauma in me, to where it's probably affected every relationship I've had with a man. um so I can't imagine that happening for my child, and so I'm like hyper vigilant to try to prevent it. But the truth is that we all come in here with our agreements, and so you know I
Nope.
can't I can't be there 100% of the time to protect everybody from everything. And if something's meant to happen, it's not my job to go around and be in fear, like the fear police, like, oh my gosh, this is going to happen. I'm actually creating it happening by, you know, not saying that that's going to happen with my daughter and my husband,
No, but it just, you
but
know,
I'm
yeah.
but I'm creating more of that in the world, and by having this fear of it, I'm attracting that, you know, that kind of trauma. Maybe not that specifically, but I'm attracting that kind of trauma by having that fear of it. And
Yeah.
so, you know, that's something for me to have to look at and have to work on. And I do have a lot of trauma with it. And that's hard to talk about, you know, but I'm getting to the point where I can talk about it. Um, you know, because it's difficult, you know, where there, like, I know there's therapies and things like that, but I don't feel like on a spiritual level I've had enough therapy in regards to what happened, because, you know, at some point in your life you just get to, you know, we're like, okay, I've been to enough therapists, you know, I've achieved a level of, you know, of dealing with this, and I don't want to look at it anymore. So, you know, but we have to go into it in a different way, if that makes any sense. We have to look at it in a spiritual context, and not just in ourselves, but also healing this for the collective. And so that's, you know, that's big, you know. When I work on my trauma, I'm working on it for not only myself but for everyone. And so, you know, I'm sending that healing out and transmuting it, because that's, I think that's our role, is to transmute those dark energies, those dark traumas and those things. So we go through them so that we can transmute them and heal them for other people.
Yeah.
At least that's just the way I feel about it.
Yeah, that's how we do it. We also, while doing so, we are healing generational curses. We're healing karma. We're healing ancestral lines that date back a long time, you know. And even I know Rick George, I brought that up, and he said, "Well, don't look at it like that." But I have cleared a lot of that stuff before now, and now that I'm clear of all that stuff, I don't have to bring that stuff on. And so now I try to stay karma free, you know, because that's what a free spirit is. It's someone who doesn't have karma, and so
One, and being karma free is hard, because, you know, that's also good karma. You know what I mean?
it's staying
It's
in good
not,
karma,
yeah,
having
well, it's not incurring more good karma, not incurring more bad karma. It's just being that
yeah,
kind of like Taoism. It's just
the
being in
observer,
the way.
like you're talking about, being that
What?
observer, like you
Yeah.
said.
Yeah,
Yeah.
being unattached. And that's what I was doing this week. When I talked to you a couple days ago and said that my husband got himself into a pickle with some drama. And you know, and he created the whole thing, and I just sat back and I watched, and he was mad at me, and I was like, "You're shooting the messenger, buddy, you know. I'm just the one that asked you if you had any involvement in this." And he's like, you know, F you know, you, and it's like, I just made him look at himself. That's all. All I
Yeah.
did was make him look at himself, and of course he's gonna be mad at me because he doesn't want to look at himself. So, oh, I just heard a door slam. So it's gonna be one of two people. I think it's my daughter. You want to have a sleepover? Is that what that was? Yeah, you need to pack a bag, and I need to take a bath first. You want to say hi? You do need to take a bath. I'll take one when I get back. All right, that's fine. Just pack a bag, please, and make sure you pack your toothbrush.
Fun
Yeah.
and stuff.
Ooh, now I can get my house cleaned up for Easter. You know, it's funny. My mom has been watching so much stuff on TikTok, and she's like so against Easter now because, you know, something about the eggs being dyed in blood and something to that effect. And so now she doesn't want to celebrate Easter. And I was like, you know what? Let's just celebrate spring. And we're just having a spring celebration. I mean, honestly, that's what it comes down to anyway.
That's all it is.
Yeah, I
Both.
mean, there's the whole religious part of it, and, you know, I touch on the little bits of truth in what I celebrate, but you know, there's so much of it that we're not aware of, you know. So it's I
It's
just do
all
the traditions that
manipulated.
feel right to
It's
me. You know,
manipulation upon manipulation upon manipulation upon manipulation, and the only thing that I know to do is literally, if you really want that information, to go to the Dead Sea Scrolls. You know, go to the Book of Enoch, go to the Book of Thomas,
well,
go to the
even
Book
I was looking at Dolores Cannon and her explanation of the life of Jesus. And I'm gonna get into that and start listening to that, because I feel like that would be good. But the what is it, the Christ letters
of
on YouTube, if you look those up and listen to those, they talk about the life of Jesus as well, the true Jesus. And so, you know, I know Jesus is real in my heart. that we're connected, but it's not what you learn in church. I mean, parts of it is, but anyway, we're not going to get into that today.
You can feel what's real, because what's real in religion
Feels
fires
like
up.
love.
You can feel it in your spirit, and the rest of it, just let it go. It's the same in religion as everywhere else. Take what resonates and leave the rest, but they don't practice that. They just shove it down your throat instead.
Yeah.
They're like, don't just take it and leave it. No, you need to take all.
Keep it simple, stupid for me, KISS, keep it simple, stupid. Not to say stupid, but keep it simple, Becky. Yeah. So just if it's coming from a place of love, it's God. And if it's coming from a place of fear, it's man. It's that simple. If it's coming from a place of love, or not to say this man, but it's inorganic. Love is organic. Fear and pain and trauma and those things are inorganic. And so if you look at it that way, natural, unnatural. So we don't have to label things. We'll just say that it's the natural way of being and the unnatural way of being. Fear is great. When you're going to put your hand on a hot stove, you have that fear of putting your hand in a fire. When you're not going to jump off a cliff because you don't have the gear to do it. But if you do have the equipment to do that kind of thing, and you're prepared and all of that, then the fear is really just in your mind. So there's a difference between natural fear and unnatural fear. And so as humans, we have this tendency to take the natural fears and then exacerbate them and turn them into unnatural things like anxiety and depression and agoraphobia, which I went through for a long time, where I was afraid to leave my house. And being an empath, we go through that. Where we just can't be around people until we learn how to harness our energy and put those protections up so that we can be around people. Yesterday, I went to Six Flags and there were probably thousands of people there. And you know what I was doing? I was taking pictures of the sun, just like I do at home. I was looking at the trees. I was touching all the trees. My daughter wanted to go on the rides, and we're standing in lines. And so while I'm standing there, I'm raising the vibrations. So I've changed the way that I interact with the world. And instead of going into it with fear, I go into it as the light that's brightly shining. And so I carry that with me to heal the world around me. Because I am that powerful. My ego is telling me, well, you're not that special. And it's like, no, I am. We all are. We all are that important. We can all do this.
All that and a bag of chips too.
Yeah.
So, but getting close to wrapping it up. But before I do that, I pulled some cards, and almost all of them are major arcanas. That's how much transformation we're doing it. The first card that dropped out was fucking Lover's card, of course. For those of us that are in separation or anything, this is like a union card, but it's also a union like between the divine masculine, divine feminine inside of you. So whether you're experiencing this in externally, like in a relationship, you're going to have union. If you're experiencing this on the internal, then you're going to have union. I don't even like the term twin flames anymore. I would much prefer divine counterpart, because so much twisted information is out there on twin flames, and there's people out there saying you are your twin flame and all this. No, you're not. It's different.
It's just like everything else. Everything's been infiltrated, and so you have to read between the lines. But a really funny thing is that the last couple of weeks, my husband has been helping me around the house, helping me with dinner, stepping up to the plate. And last night he was like, "We're twinning, babe. We're twinning," and I'm like, "What are you talking about?" I was like, "Oh my God!" Like he's not no longer competing with me. I'm no longer on an opposing team. That we're both on the same team now, and I'm like, okay, this is weird. I'm just gonna roll with it. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna comment on it. But I just thought his choice of words was a little interesting. I'll leave it at that he's saying that we're twinning, and I was like, okay.
I get it. I get the twinning part. It really has nothing to do with the twin flames at all, but it's really interesting, and I like that. But the next card that fell out right after that was Hermit, of course, which is what I'm doing which is going within and going back inside within, listening to your intuition, going into your golden light, just like my dad said, focusing on your golden light on the inside of you, on your soul, on the soul level, because honestly, the chariot is movement. So we're moving forward. We're not moving backwards anymore. There is no moving backwards. It's always going to be forward moving information is going to be coming in. I don't know why that came in, but information's going to be coming in. That's going to have to deal with movement or shifting things. And then I got the Empress.
Just 1 minute.
Boom. The Empress card, basically having all of my feminine energy together. So those of us that are struggling with energy, even if you're not feminine, you're going to be integrating a lot of higher dimensional feminine energy. Okay.
I
Sounds
think
good.
that's needed. I think that's needed on the masculines, to get in touch with that feminine side and to really connect. And so when I hear my husband, and I see him cooking in the kitchen when I'm, relaxing and he's taking charge, I'm
That makes
seeing
sense.
that feminine side in him activating, and I'm just sitting back and I'm being the observer with it. I am not getting involved in it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I'm letting him do what he wants to do.
So then the Five of Pentacles, which is scarcity, we're moving past the scarcity mindset into what actually belongs to us, what actually belongs to us in our life. Things are coming into balance. That's just big time. And then the Hierophant. So you might be dealing with institutions or powers that be, maybe laws, or maybe you have tickets to deal with. But either way, it's going to work out in your favor. That came in.
For me personally, that speaks volumes.
Yeah.
We've had custody issues with my stepson and things like that. So, that came, that a lot of it came out of untruths. And so, to see the light shine in that area, in that arena of our life would be
Feel like
wonderful.
my feminines that are dealing with the custody is going to be dealing with are going to win. They're actually being justified. And so no, I'm getting this very strongly. Whoever has been telling stories about you, the truth is going to come out. So if somebody's been lying behind your back like a narcissist and telling stories and really what is the word I'm looking for?
Obscuring the truth.
Yeah, they're obscuring the truth, but they've really done a smear campaign on you.
Yes.
The truth coming out. If anybody that's done any type of smear campaign, these cards are coming out because it's
Well, I'm self-evident. You know what I mean? You can look at me and then you can look at the source if you're truly on the outside of it, and you can see the difference. If you know what I'm saying. You can observe my truth. And so I'm not afraid to stand in my truth and to own my mistakes. And if something is if something is true about me that's a mistake, I don't have any shame in talking about it because I have dealt with it, you know? So, but yeah.
But that's all I got for this episode, at least.
Do you enjoy having the commentary when you're doing a reading? I know it's a little different than when you're doing it by yourself. So, not to pull it in and make it all about me, because I know it's more than just me.
It's me because if I'm doing it by myself, I have a lot of self-doubt. But if I'm doing it with you, then I have someone to talk to, and I'm just like, it flows. Like, I'm like, look, dude, that's what that means. Like, I didn't have any problem. Like, I didn't have to look up anything. I'm really like, I'm leveling up. Like, I'm really.
Well, it's kind of like not to classify myself as a full-on medium, because I don't know that much about it quite yet. I'm just getting into it, but it's kind of like we're having this energetically, telepathic conversation with one another while we're communicating. So it's kind of like we're ping-ponging back and forth and then feeding each other energy. So when you're doing the reading, it's kind of like you're tapping in, So.
Yeah, big time. But it helps me because if I'm doing it by myself, then I'm just talking to myself. But it does help when I'm talking to someone else. So, all right.
I got a girl with a bag full and she needs some assistance, so I gotta jump off here. All right, I don't know. Somebody said activating the heart chakra. I did just put out some stuff on Facebook about opening the heart chakra. So if you're a friend of mine on Facebook, or check out Gypsy Soul Surfer on Facebook groups, I just put some stuff on there. I'm also on Gypsy Soul Surfer on YouTube as well, and I'll upload that heart chakra opening as well. So I don't know if, because it doesn't share our, when we communicate on our lives, it doesn't, like, it tags me, but it does, I don't know if that I know it doesn't upload onto my videos, so just poking that out there. But anyway, all right, well, I'll let you jump off here, and thank you so much, Joy. I love you, and I've got some more readings, so I don't know if you want to do it again tomorrow. Let me know. Stay tuned, anybody that's hanging out. We might do another live tomorrow. Who knows? We'll
All
see.
right. Later.
Bye, guys.
Bye. See ya.
See ya.